what I wanted to do, rather than ask you about a lot of the issues that you're already covering in a lot of your interviews and on your website, which I would encourage people to go to. It's AmericaInitiative.com. OurAmericaInitiative.com. You know, since I'm not working for a news organization, what I want to do is take this opportunity to ask you some questions that you maybe don't get addressed, that I think are important issues, and maybe a lot of people who will see this think are important issues. And I wanted to ask you because I respect that you think and speak in a way that is not obviously not tailored to just get votes and please everybody, but you've already been an independent. You've always been an independent thinker. And if you weren't, you never would have gotten on the drug legalization thing or opposed the war and getting into the war in Iraq and so on. So I just want to ask you some questions with the benefit of your having been in politics and business, okay, which I have not.
Okay.
So that's what I think the advantage is in getting your read on some things. So let me ask you, so I've got like 4, I think, large, important questions, and maybe you have spoken about these things, and I don't know, but I just want to get your read. With regard to, say, America's role in the world, some people accuse America of being an empire, an imperial power with 97 or 90-some bases around the world, including Germany. Where's that at? Do we need to be in Germany for some reason and spending more money on the military than all other countries combined? And this all goes back to before terrorism and the excuse that everybody hated us and so on. What do you feel about that level of expenditure and involvement? Do you think it's necessary? Do you see any way to cut back? I mean, do we need bases in Germany for some reason?
Well, I would just echo exactly what you're saying. Out of the dollar that's being spent worldwide on military defense, military spending, 50 cents of that dollar is being spent by the United States. We're involved in treaties that were negotiated 70 years ago. I think that we need to renegotiate treaties worldwide to reflect more of the world reality today. We've got troops in South Korea, we've got troops in Japan, we've got troops in Germany. It seems to me that the rest of the world needs to be picking this up, as opposed to the United States bankrupting themselves doing this. We're borrowing 43 cents out of every dollar that we're spending. I don't see us as any good to any country worldwide bankrupt, and I think that that's where we've gotten ourselves.
Well, some people would respond to this and defend this whole thing by saying, well, we're a terrorist target now. As I say, of course, this all goes back to before all that. But, I mean, is that a stance that we can live with indefinitely? We have to defend ourselves from everybody who hates us now? Or is this just, as in my view, is this just the military-industrial complex carrying on and making money and scaring people to some extent?
Well, I think we should be. I think that we should be cognizant of terrorist threat. I think that, in fact, we should be wary of any country, any individuals that are going to point guns at us and potentially do us harm. I would just argue that that's not happening in Iraq or Afghanistan, that we're not being threatened in either one of those locations, and that we ought to be smarter. I mean, we hear about this all the time, the notion of the military being smarter, not spending more, and yet all we do is spend more. We just, again, I would suggest that we've spent ourselves into bankruptcy, and we're of no good, going to be of no good to any country worldwide if we are bankrupt. And we're not going to be of any good to ourselves bankrupt.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you. Let me ask another question that to me is crucial, and see if you have any thoughts on it. This issue that some people call corporate personhood. As some people have pointed out, when corporations were first chartered in this country, and the original concept was they'd have a limited life, a limited purpose, they'd create some useful product or service, and now through some strange Supreme Court readings and misreadings, some people say, and recent decisions, we have corporate personhoods. They have more power. than people, less liability. They can't go to prison for murdering people, which some do. They have free speech now, and now with the recent Citizens United decision, they can put infinite amounts of money into political campaigns. So that although as some people say it's not still not legal to supposedly bribe a candidate, they could say, Gary Johnson, if you're running for representative, you better think our way, or we're going to put up zillions of dollars for attack ads, which always work, for our candidate who does think our way. So any thoughts on this whole corporate personhood thing and Citizens United?
Jim, I'm not aware of corporations committing murder and being able and getting away with it. I'm not sure what you're
Well, I'm talking
referring
about, say, in terms of environmental disasters and conscious decisions
got
that end up
it.
killing people,
All
essentially.
Right. Again, that ends up to be, I think, arguable, but certainly they should be held liable for their actions. With regard to campaign finance, I think that they should be able to, I think it comes under the First Amendment that they should be able to contribute as much money as they want, and I'm believing on the side that maybe this makes politicians more accountable, not less accountable, and drawing an analogy between unions being able to give money and corporations being able to give money. Why are unions able to give unlimited amounts of money and corporations not? So I would just, I'm believing that this is going to be a good thing, not a bad thing.
Well, let me carry that a little further. You referred to the First Amendment. Did you feel the First Amendment free speech rights referred to people or to corporations? Do you think it applied to corporations, or the founders would have agreed that it applied to corporations, groups of business people?
Well, just back to free speech and the ability of an individual to raise money, I don't see unlimited amounts of money being able to be contributed by the corporations as a negative, and I'll leave that interpretation as to corporations and individuals to the courts.
All right.
Not trying to dodge this by any means.
No, you have your opinion, which is what I wanted to get. I did have a separate question, but it relates so strongly to this, and that is,